Hello everybody, for those who don't know me, my name is Rowan and I've attended church for about 3 years now. I had parents and family who were always believers, but they weren't super into it. They were more lukewarm, even though I was brought to Bible camps and things like that. But I still learned about Christ overall, just not a deep feeling with him. And with that came a lot of anger and resentment in my life towards Christ because he was supposed to be the Lord of my everything. In my life, there were plenty of times where I'd be angry because I was put into a French school without barely knowing any French. I was years behind everybody. So socially and everything to do with grades and all that, I was behind. And that eventually led me to be ostracized a little bit by everybody in my school. I was even told in high school around 7th grade that I actually would never even graduate high school. That's how behind that they thought I was. And then that eventually led me to wanting admiration from money and gratification from other parts of my life that just never fulfilled me. I got all those things and still led me to a very depressed state where I actually almost took my own life. I was lucky enough that the night I was going to do it, I was so overwhelmed from crying and from putting everything out there and talking to the Lord, and I fell asleep. And what happened was, when I was asleep, my body came up somehow in a dream, and I was lifted up into the clouds, into the sky, and then I saw a figure. I think it was Jesus or the Lord. I can't remember the face. And all they told me to do was just don't do it. And then I was brought down, and in a flash, I was woken up from my body, jolted up and everything. And to this day, this is actually the only dream I have ever remembered in such vivid detail. It was given to me by God. I can't think of another way. The timing and everything, it happened too perfectly. After a while, I was attending this church, and I actually went to a restaurant because one of my friends told me to come and just hang out with him. And that's actually where I met Mitch from City's Church. I can't remember how, but eventually it got into the topic of Christianity, and he talked about his church. And I said, I'd love to come join it. I was kind of wanting a church to push me more into Christ and to talk about sin more, and that's what I got from City's Church. So I brought some of the guys here, and we actually all decided to get baptized, and Pastor Corey said he'll do that for us. So he brought us into the steps of doing it, and what ended up happening is we all started wanting to get baptized. And the days leading up to it were awesome. We were all excited, a little nervous. I actually didn't know I was going to read a testimony in front of everybody until like probably 4 days before. I loved doing it with the guys. It was a beautiful experience, and the strongest feeling I had was going into it. It was quiet, and then coming out, I just felt peace over my heart, and that was the biggest thing, so it was beautiful. Now I feel like what I'm compelled to do is, because I was saved by going to a young adults now, I feel like God has put a little bit of that into my heart, and I want to start doing things with that. I want to hopefully bring others into it, because I think the youth my age, those are people who are going to transform the next generation. And I love bringing people that I love to Christ, and people that are like me, had similar situations. I love talking to people about it, helping them out, and just talking about verses and theology and like cool things I find in the Bible. I love that because I get to do that at a young adult's night. It's not a gift of, am I good enough? It's not, am I doing enough? It's by grace through faith, believing that Jesus was the sacrifice, that he was the lamb that covers all infinity, multitude of sins through his blood, right? Just as they had to sacrifice in the Mosaic law, Jesus is that one and only sacrifice for good, and that you can be anew through him in whatever you do. And to not worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own issues. You cannot add a single second to your life about worrying about tomorrow. Instead, worry about the present and cast your anxiety on Christ. Those are the lines that got me through a lot of tough times. And if you think that the sin you have carried is too far gone and God can't forgive you, just know There is a Bible verse talking about how He forgives as far as the east is from west, and those two, they never meet.